Switching on types part 2. You can indicate a case using the when keyword. Let's delete our previous example and write a new one. I don't want to use the same one. Let's create a switch keyword. Creates a switch. All right, good. And that will be a type. The accepted parameter in switch statement is type. So we do case. When we get a string input, when, this is the keyword that we're going to discuss. That is the when keyword, and that will be when input. Let's say input, our variable that we just created, case string input, when input dot length is less than 5. Okay, if you pass something into this function check type and that string, that input is less than 5, I mean the length of that input is less than 5, then we wanna console.writeLine. You entered a short word with the dot. Okay, that's a first case scenario. So basically, again, we are calling this function check type. We're passing the word hello. Let's do hell. We're passing the word hell. And if the length, we know that the length of hell is 4, then it will get into this case scenario. So what will happen? We're passing the type. So now the type is hell here. Let me just even show you. That will be the type here, and it will pass here. It will count. It becomes the input. If the input's length is less than 5, it will console.writeLine. You entered a short word, and then it will break out of the switch statement. Let's bring back everything. We'll write hell in here. Let's say case string input when input dot length is greater than 5. Greater or equal than 5, and input dot length is less or equal to 10. So basically we're saying if the input length more or equal than 5 and less or equal than 10, then we write console.writeLine. You entered a medium word. Okay, now let's go. It's giving us error because we didn't break out of the loop after that. Okay, now it's good. We're going to another case scenario, which is this case string input when input dot length is greater than 10. So if our example is greater than 10, we wanna console.writeLine. You entered a long word. We break out of the loop, and if the default, if something goes wrong, we'll just simply do console.writeLine invalid input. Okay, so that's our program, just to check the when keyword and how to use it with the case scenario. Okay, now let's start checking. Check type. We start with the word, I don't know, Joe. So we do .NET run again. You entered a short word. The length of the Joe string is 3. When we call this check type function, it will be substituted with this Joe, and then it will get into the switch, and then it starts checking. So we get input. When input.length is less than 5, we know that Joe is less than 5. That will get into this case scenario, and as we see, it outputted on the console. You entered a short word. Okay, let's bring everything back. Let's start checking another example. Let's take a medium word. Mariana. You entered a medium word. Okay, as we know, we take this Mariana, we're passing into the function, we're passing it into the switch statement, and then we start checking input. Mariana dot length is less than 5. No, it's not. It's not less than 5. Then we go to another case scenario and we check Mariana name dot length is greater than 5. Yes, that's correct. Okay, then we check and Mariana dot length is less than 10. Yes, that's also less than 10. So how many words we have in Mariana? 1, how many characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7. So it is the matching type, and it is the matching length of the word we passed. So that will output on the console. That's a medium word. Okay, we'll go to another example. So we'll just bring everything back. Okay, we checked Mariana. And now let's check a very long name. I don't know, let's check. I'm thinking about a very long name. I don't know, let's take a surname, Peterson. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know, let's just take not a name, but just we'll take a text. What a beautiful day today. What a beautiful day today. As we know, that length is greater than 10. So it should get into the case of input length is greater than 10. It will enter this block of code and break it out of the switch statement. .NET run again. You entered the long word, so that's what expected. Now let's try to input something very invalid and see how it works. Okay, we do check type. I don't know, it's 120. It should get into the default, invalid input. So basically it's checked it's not string, and it went through all of the cases. It checked no, it's not the string type, and then it simply get to default statement, which is invalid input, and break out of the switch statement. So it console.writeLine invalid input and break out of the switch statement. That's how you can use when keyword. It's not even about the case. You can use it with anything else. You don't have to check the type. You can just check the input itself and use the when keyword.